Hello everyone, this is Roxanne Grinage, HireLyrics.org, and more importantly, this is Ezekiel and Ariel's grandmother, and Lorraine Grinage, their mother's mother. It's Saturday, July 17th, and I just want to do a quick video with some quick audio we're going to be announcing tomorrow on our Blog Talk radio show, and it's already announced on Facebook that the Grinage family, which is quite sizable, the Grinage family, there are 600 of us here that we know of, here in the United States, as sponsoring and working on fundraising for the sake of managing our own private investigation that seeks to rescue Ezekiel and Ariel Brown, who have been parentally abducted by their abusive father, Eric L. Brown, and his abusive girlfriend, Sandra Sullivan. So I just want to read our language here for the promotion of the Grinage family is spearheading and taking responsibility for the fundraising that will hire private investigators, travel, and purchase our own expert witness reports, independent of what we have gathered the data for, voluminous data for, that our courts here in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania are poisoned through financial incentives. But that's a whole nother topic. We seek and focus fully on rescuing our grandchildren who have already been verified as having suffered possibly permanent child abuse injuries starting on December 13, 2009, and going forward with witnesses, 50 witnesses to the mob attack, home invasion, mob beating, assaults of Eric Brown, Sandra O'Sullivan, her mother, Diane Kearney, and 3 people with baseball bats and guns, said they had guns in front of 50 witnesses, who brought Ezekiel and Ariel into a riot condition and traumatized them as they watched Sandra Sullivan attack their mother, Lorraine Grinage, with a baseball bat, Diane Kearney assault me, their grandmother, and watched their father perpetrate, a cowardly assault, a beating upon their grandfather, who was the only primary caregiver for their entire life. Not the only caregiver, but the primary caregiver. Their grandfather, Willie Brownson, Ezekiel and Ariel Brown, had bonded with as he provided their care. He got up with them in the middle of the night, their fevers. He fed them, he clothed them, he kept them clean and safe until Eric Brown chose, with constant relapses in drug and alcohol addiction, chose to do his thing comfortably by moving in with Sandra Sullivan, who is financially incentive, who testified in the custody matter that she wanted to be a foster mom because her mom is a foster mom. They created all kind of fraud. They committed all type of fraud crimes along the way, including perjury, bigamy, SSA fraud, IRS fraud. We're going to feature on our show tomorrow, on our Blog Talk radio show, how to use Recovery Act, IRS, Office of Professional Responsibility, for IRS forms 3949 and the various complaint forms for U.S. Government Accountability Office, Recovery.gov agencies, IRS, Social Security Administration, SSI, SSD, welfare, judicial disciplinary complaint forms, attorney discipline complaint forms, to report both the professionals, the corrupt attorneys, dishonest or malpracticing or incompetent attorneys, social workers, and CPAs, and report the monsters that the corrupt attorneys, social workers, and CPAs, DHS, Anne-Marie Ambrose gave our children to be destroyed. Okay, for financial reason, we're going to focus on those forms. So real quickly, here's our language, and here's all the contact information for how you can make a much appreciated, very grateful donation to the Grinage family's fundraiser to spearhead private investigations, to pay for our own private investigators, to locate and retrieve Ezekiel and Ariel Brown, to rescue them and bring them home safely to their authentic caregivers and nurturers. They are, by the way, Eric Brown and Sandra Sullivan are, by the way, in contempt of a temporary custody, or they're in contempt of the shared legal custody part of the order, and they're in contempt of the visitation part of the order. And there is a criminal case for their assault beating of Willie Brownson that has been referred on July 12th by Honorable Marcia N. Mayfield. She's the president judge here in the criminal court. and she's referred it to the District Attorney R. Seth Williams on July 12th because the police, and on July 1st, the police, the Philadelphia police, and a U.S. Marshal who was attempting to serve her for the third time, Sandra Sullivan, in Lorraine Grinage versus Sandra Sullivan, aggravated assaults upon minors while in the commission of SSI fraud, bigamy, perjury, fraud, Philadelphia Orphans Court fraud, Mayor of Norwood, George F. McCluskey, a friend of the Placente family. That docket number is U.S. District Court 210 CV 00179 MSG, the federal case. We're hoping to get the Federal Fugitive Task Force to help us retrieve them. There is a process that we're going to share on the Blog Talk Radio show tomorrow. I called the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and they told us what the process is for just normal citizens. You don't have to be a judge who's asking for the help of the task force to work against us as citizens who are trying to rescue our children. There is a way that we as human beings, as citizens, families trying to protect our children can seek to enlist the help of the Federal Fugitive Task Force for parental abduction. There's a list of child abuse injuries that are validated, that are documented for occurring by experts and medical experts for what happens when a child is parentally abducted, and especially by an abusive parent and the abusive parent's family. Diane Kearney is Sandra Sullivan's mother, and she has also abused and witnessed as of June 8, 2010 for abusing our grandchildren. By 50 witnesses, she's been reported. She's a DHS foster parent, Diane Kearney is, and she's been reported to Anne Marie Ambrose. And to our knowledge, Anne Marie Ambrose, the DHS commissioner here in Philadelphia, continues to ignore the fact that one of her DHS foster parents actually took 2 small children into a gang violent, flash mob violent home invasion assault of their family and traumatized them, leaving them unattended in a vehicle in the middle of a riot where everybody was running around screaming, trying to find ways to protect their homes and their children from 6 violent people who came and tried to kick their doors in and assaulted us on June 8th. And Anne Marie Ambrose is aware of it, and she has done absolutely nothing about it. When you'll notice that in the news, if you just read some of the daily news articles for the last 3 to 4 months, DHS is infamous, notorious for retaliating against moral and ethically behaving foster parents. Who reported the late abortion, the live abortion forced on a young lady here, and so on. And the other abuse of Janice Brown, taking her children and putting them with strangers 4 years after she lost her children, and Sparkle Ballard. Just look up some of the daily news articles, and you'll see how DHS retaliates when they get ready and keeps our city officials, Mayor Michael Nutter and R. Seth Williams, under their thumb, so that nepotism, corruption is rampant here in the city of Philadelphia. But in the meantime, there are some things that we as citizens can do privately. There are forms that are available through the whistleblower agencies. You can whistleblow. There are protections under the Recovery Act for whistleblowers, and the IRS and Social Security Administration are recovery.gov agencies, and they are defrauded when malpracticing, lying in official court documents. Social workers and attorneys, lawyers, DHS lawyers and CPAs seek, for whatever reason, if it's through incompetence or financial incentive, but for whatever reason, deny due process and destroy court records and lie in court records and destroy evidence in the best interest of families and children. They can be reported, and then there can be accountability, transparency. So go to www.HireLyrics.org. Please donate for the rescue of the Grinage family fundraiser to rescue Ezekiel Brown and Zachariah Brown, and I continue my strongest prayers. We are grateful for your prayers, and please know that you have our strongest prayers for the rescue of all children of all ages that have been destroyed and whose career and product contributions are missing from viable economy enriching industries because they were destroyed and irreparably injured by CPS, corruption, and government. God bless everyone. This is Roxanne Grinage, HireLyrics.org.